name's Lynda Gaiao and welcome to this week's episode. This week we're looking at trait 17, which is opinions. This trait brings the energy for us to be ready to share our opinions, to share our vision for a bigger picture for the future. And it's a process of filtering through many different opinions until we get to one that we can trust, one that we feel can survive both testing and criticism, and that can really calm our fears about the future. Part of the energy of this trait 17 is it's a bit of a teaching trait, here to teach, to share with others, and it really structures the opinions or the information that's coming in into an answer, into a concept that could potentially be a workable or a possible solution. It takes our doubts and it turns these into possible answers for the future, possible solutions for the future. This particular trait is a logical trait. It's in the collective circuitry, so it's all about sharing. And this is where the teaching aspect comes to it. Now, one thing that I want to chat to you about in terms of logic is that something can be total logic, but actually not be true. It can be total bullshit, really, because if we look at the modern day world where we have people in positions of authority, they use science, they use data, and they present that as fact. And in fact, if you look into different fields such as psychology, where everything is based on data, one of the things that you quickly start seeing is how different everyone is. That human beings have so many different variables that when you're running a test among many humans and you're trying to extrapolate some data from that, essentially there can be a lot of manipulation of that data to try to get some kind of workable answer. And so even though something is logical, doesn't make it true. Doesn't make it true. It's really important to see that. And a lot of opinions that are out there are not true, even if they sound logical. So when we have people in positions of authority and they are sharing a logical opinion, it can make it more believable. We can, in fact, get taken in and pulled along by their logical opinion because of the position they hold in our society. So when we're stepping into the energy this week and we are having all these opinions within ourselves and around us, it's really important for us to always connect to our inner genius, to our decision-making strategy, and only be guided from that. Yes, it's great to be open to new opinions and to finding out more about what's available in the world around us, but they're not here to be trusted or to guide us through life. And the only place for us to be guided through our life is by going through our decision-making strategy. The trait 17, on the other side of it, is trait 62. And what we find here is we have these opinions, and the 62 comes along and it backs it up with facts and details. So without that, without the 62 on the other side, it can often be difficult for us to express or to communicate our opinion or to communicate these concepts that suddenly come into our awareness and through this logical process. So I don't want you to get fixated on opinions that can't be substantiated by facts. Opinions are something that can be expressed verbally, but they're not something to be acted on, not something to take action from. Because the 17th trait is up in the mental plane, it's in the conceptualization function or the ajna center, it's from a mental realm. And what's happened with us as humans is that we've become so accustomed to following everything that comes from the mental realm that we think that when there's an opinion that comes out, that this is something that we need to do something with, that we need to take an action from it. And so I want to just caution you here to be open to the opinions, but really not necessarily using them as a way to guide you through life, to make a decision from. The fear that's going to show up here, because the conceptualization function, or the ajna, is an awareness center, and there is an anxiety that shows up in the mental realm. And this anxiety, or this fear, is that no one's going to value your input. When we look on the human desire side of this particular trait, it talks about an ancient law that those who wish to rule must know how to serve. And essentially what this is about is that when you have an opinion, a workable solution that you're going to present to people, it's not going to be embraced by the people, by your team, by your community, unless it's of value to them, unless it's of benefit to them. And so this is the ruling and serving aspect that comes in here. So if you're in a position of leadership in a business context, and you have this opinion, this workable solution, this pattern for the future that you want to share with your team, remember that if it doesn't serve the greater whole, it's not going to be taken on board, and you're not going to get the resources that you need to support this new direction or this new opinion that you're bringing forward. So this week, what I encourage you to pay attention is to what opinions are surfacing for you. Perhaps there's opinions that you've held for a long time, but the energy being around at the moment kind of amplifies that. I'd also like you to pay attention to what opinions are you noticing in the world around you. You may find a lot of opinions being expressed this week. Remember that an opinion is not something to take action from. And so always going back to a decision-making strategy and not taking action from any opinion, whether it's your opinion or from the world around you. I'd also like you to pay attention to the kind of weight that is carried by an opinion expressed from someone in a position of authority, or someone that you value or regard highly. And remembering once again that even if this is somebody who has value in your life, that it's not necessarily an opinion that you need to take action from. In terms of your team or leading your business, only present opinions to your team that have a value for the greater team or for that community. And then once an opinion has come forward, once it's been accepted by the team as having value, the next step is to really start to find a way to substantiate that opinion with facts and details. And then, once you've checked in with the decision-making strategy of your team, this can then really lead you into a new direction. I hope you've enjoyed this week's video. Remember that each week a new video is released, so if you want to make sure that you don't miss the next one, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button. I always like to hear about people's experiences and how this energy shows up for you. So if you have any comments about this or any experience to share, please pop that in the comments below. Until next week, I hope you have an amazing week. Bye for now.